you don't want me.
Sex. Let's talk about it. Thanks for coming down.
Of course.
So, can I get your name, your pronouns, and your age?
Hi, I am Carter Lloyd. My pronouns are he, him, and I am 20 years old.
My name is Rain. I'm 20 years old and I use any pronouns. I prefer she, her the least.
I'm Jackson. I'm 19 and I use any pronouns.
My name is Sean. My friends call me Shonic because I love Sonic the Hedgehog. And I'm 19 years old and I go by he, him.
My name is Kaya. I'm 20 and my pronouns are she, her.
So, we're talking about sex.
Okay.
First question, what was your sex education growing up?
So I am from Little Rock, Arkansas, which is very down south. So bad to the point where our teacher could not actually teach us to put condoms on. He had to use an example of a banana in a shoe for proper education. He had a black market condom ring. So he would hand them out from his desk to us if we requested it because the state of Arkansas legally told him he could not do that normally. So not very good.
I was taught like sex ed in like middle school, and the school was supposed to teach abstinence because that was just the statewide program at the time. My teacher was like, no, that's stupid. And he taught us like actual like sex ed with like safe sex and like condoms and STDs.
I grew up in New Mexico, so it wasn't too great. We took one health class for one semester, 9th grade, and it was just taught by whatever football coach was there at the time.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die. Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
My parents showed me this weird book when my mom was pregnant because she's like, oh, we gotta explain this thing. I lost the book.
You lost the book?
Yeah, no, we hid it in the basement and it was like a joke with my friends for a while, and then we moved houses and forgot it. It was like illustrated, had pictures and everything. It was very weird.
Pictures?
Yeah, pictures, like drawn
Like graphic?
pictures. It wasn't very graphic. It was kind of unnerving, actually.
Oh.
My health teacher in 9th grade showing us how to put a condom on with a banana. Like she put the condom on the banana and it was all right. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. It just felt wrong. But that was about it.
Why do you think it's so taboo to talk about sex openly?
I believe because a lot of people aren't comfortable with themselves sexually. One of the things that I've really worked on over my life is being very sexually comfortable with myself as well as, the people around me, and especially growing up in a very conservative environment that was very often not reflected by most people you'd meet.
I grew up in a household that was very just like conserved, and we didn't talk about anything like that, like anything at all that had to do with like sex or just like puberty in general. Just all of it was just like off the table. Like grow up with like such negative outlook on sex, and so everybody just kind of has that in the back of their mind thinking about it, and it's just not really like welcomed in the public for some reason, even though I think it should be, considering it's a universal experience.
It was very taboo. I went to church every week. They taught us up until we were about 12 or 13, anything but missionary with the eyes closed is a sin, which, as we all know, just isn't true.
Wow, with the eyes closed. Very, very specific. What is your concept of virginity?
My concept of virginity really, I believe that there's levels to it, if that makes sense. Oral sex and I'm not sure what the proper term for hand job is, so I'm just going to call it a hand job, is very different than a full penetration vaginal or anal sex. So I believe that they're two different things that exist on very different spheres. There's nothing wrong with having or not having any of them. It's really all what you're into.
I think it's kind of an outdated concept. If anything, it's a little misogynistic as well, the way that we hold like virginity up on a pedestal, like it means something. And I think in our modern world, it's just unnecessary, especially with different sexualities, different interpretations of sex. It just doesn't really hold up the same anymore.
Growing up, they definitely always talked about just heteronormative, like sex is just like, virginity is like having sex, and that's like it. Like popping the cherry is just like, that's when you lose your virginity. That's what I always grew up thinking, but then I definitely started diving into like a deeper world of sex and exploring the more like queer side of things, and so I feel like there's definitely like layers to virginity.
It's what you make of it. Like, if you really want it to be a sacred thing, then I respect the hell out of that. Like, that's so cool. But I mean, there's the other people They don't really put that much emphasis into it, and like, I don't know, do what you want, honestly.
What is your definition of consent?
I think consent would be like being aware and like wanting what's going on.
Yes is yes and no is no. I mean, I don't know. It's not. I feel like it's not complicated. Honestly, just make it as simple as that.
The age of consent in the US ranges from 16 to 18 years old. As for the age of consent in New Mexico is 17 years old. And yes, if someone is unconscious or inebriated, they cannot legally give consent. A healthy alternative for many couples is to use a term called blanket consent, which, for example, if a couple is going to go out drinking for the night, they can say whether they do or do not want to have sex that night. But just like any other form of consent, blanket consent can be taken away at any time whether the person is inebriated or sober. Just like anything else, communication is key. So you're queer.
Real.
How do you feel like sex is portrayed in a heteronormative society versus how we kind of view it in a queer community?
I wouldn't say I was very sheltered, but I grew up kind of in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know that gay people existed until I moved into the city.
Touching back on like sex education, like I don't think we had any queer education at all. It was all just like man and woman.
It just like never crossed my mind, and my parents were never like against gay people. They're very open with all of that, but I just didn't even know that it was a thing. Throughout all of my education, it was never brought up that that was like a thing. The only thing I heard about it was other kids insulting each other by calling each other gay on the playground.
There was nothing when it came to talking about like queer sex or anything like that. Kids who are queer or non-monog, etc., are just kind of left to
Figure it out.
Yeah, they're like, well.
Do you have any non-conventional turn-ons or fetishes?
Yes.
Slay.
I love frat boys.
The biggest one is I'm very much like power. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't. I like power in, for lack of better terms, the very traditionally masculine way. But besides that, nothing too crazy.
Where is the weirdest place you've had sex?
The weirdest place I've had sex, probably on a log in a forest.
Back of a Walmart.
Back of a Walmart. At night or at day?
Day.
Day. That's important.
I feel like I haven't really like gone out and had sex, but I have had sex in a bunk bed before.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Was it like one
definitely.
person on each bed?
Having sex through the bed?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay.
No, it was a lofted bed, so it wasn't technically a bunk bed, I guess, but like
It was a lofted bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing in sex is sexier than communication, which is why we love using safe words here. Safe words is often a random word used by people during sex when they want to communicate that they want the scene to end. This is often a random word that no one can accidentally say during sex, such as pineapple, or scrunchie, or even whiteboard if you want. Another healthy alternative to using a safe word is the traffic light system, which means that either partner can check in at any time just by asking what the other person's color is. Green meaning that they're good and they're ready to go ahead. Yellow meaning that they might need a break or a pause. And red meaning someone wants to fully end the scene right there. But of course, before setting up a safe word or setting up a traffic light system, do your research, because I'm just a person on your screen and you're having sex, and sex can be really fun and it can be really scary. So be smart and look up shit first. What do you know about BDSM culture?
A fair bit.
Okay. Yeah, you know. What do you know of the BDSM culture?
Quite a bit.
Okay, what does it stand for?
Oh, bondage, sadomasochism, BDS. Wait, which one did I miss?
Bondage, I've taken the test so many times. Bondage, sadism, BD, fuck. Bondage, D, sadism, masochism.
What's the D stand for?
Dick?
The ball in the mouth, getting tied up, getting spanked, and like whipped. That's what I go to, like all leather, almost like in a dungeon.
And what does that say about you that that's where your mind goes?
Shit.
I was gonna say dominant, but I was like, no, that's stupid.
What does BDSM stand for?
Boobs, dick, sex, and marriage.
So that was terrifically wrong.
BDSM stands for bondage, dominance, discipline, sadomasochism. While the first two letters are fairly straightforward, sadomasochism often gets confused with other things. Sadist refers to someone who enjoys inflicting pain onto their partner during sex, while a masochist is someone who enjoys receiving pain during sex. Now, BDSM actually covers a very wide range of fetishes and kinks, and most people often end up participating in minor forms of BDSM without even realizing it, unless you're having really vanilla sex. But you know, you do you. I don't really care. In popular media, BDSM is often portrayed using things such as latex, whips, blindfolds, and, you know, handcuffs, I guess. Last but not least, ass or tits?
Ass.
From a feminine standpoint, I would say tits, but from a masculine standpoint, I would say ass.
Ass.
Tits.
All right, I used to be a tits guy, but now, as I've matured, as I've grown older, I say both.
Okay.
They're both important.
All right. Thank you.
What's more important?
Yeah.